The wrestling world has had its share of chaos, controversy, and confusion, but this week felt like the entire industry flipped sideways all at once. From YouTube backlash shaking WWE's confidence to wild match incidents, hostile international crowds, viral knockout moments, and legends caught up in real-life trouble, nothing unfolded the way anyone expected. And somehow everything ties back to a bigger question: what exactly is going on behind the scenes right now? Jey Uso's week looked solid on paper, but the story wasn't nearly that simple. Sure, he pushed through a brutal match with Rusev and secured his spot in the semifinals of the last time is now tournament. The victory should have been a straightforward momentum boost, especially after already beating The Miz in the first round. Inside the ring, Jey fought from underneath the entire match, taking hit after hit from Rusev's powerhouse offense before finally digging deep and stealing the win. Fans inside the arena popped like it was a WrestleMania moment every time his music hit, and the live reaction felt electric. But the energy online? Completely different. The highlight video racked up dislikes at a rate that had WWE scratching their heads, over 44,000 people hammering the dislike button compared to barely a fraction liking it. And the comments were even harsher, with fans venting their frustration over the booking, the direction, or just Jey's current push in general. Once again, it exposed the bizarre divide between live crowds living in the moment and online fans who track every detail like stock charts. It's gotten so noticeable that even within WWE, people are quietly wondering how they're going to navigate this gap. And Jey's tournament run isn't slowing down, especially with LA Knight waiting next. But the heat surrounding Jey this week was nothing compared to what went down on the independent scene, because Priscilla Kelly decided to take things somewhere no one saw coming. Her showdown with Shotzi Blackheart at Ladies Night Out 15 was already expected to be rough, but the moment Kelly leaned in and bit Shotzi's chest, the entire crowd gasped like they were watching something that wasn't supposed to happen. It instantly went viral, spreading across social media with people arguing whether she crossed the line or revived the chaotic spirit of old-school hardcore wrestling. Their long history on the indies only intensified every second of the match, and Shotzi added her own brand of wild energy by using a green staple gun, collecting money from fans like she was running a bizarre fundraiser each time she pulled the trigger. The final blow came when Shotzi suplexed Kelly through a steel door and Kelly couldn't answer the 10 count. It was the kind of match that leaves people either loving the insanity or questioning where the boundaries should be. But while the debate kept fans buzzing, the attention soon shifted to something even more intense, because while Kelly and Shotzi pushed limits inside the ring, another group of wrestlers were dealing with danger outside of it. AEW's Death Riders found themselves in the middle of a full-blown hostile situation in Mexico City, and it went far beyond the usual boos and chants. Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Yuta were booked for back-to-back CMLL events, stepping into a crowd that clearly wasn't in the mood to play nice. At Arena Mexico, tensions were already high, but by the time they got to Arena Coliseo, fans weren't just reacting, they were throwing whatever they could get their hands on. Debris flew into the ring, and the atmosphere changed from heated wrestling crowd to something closer to a riot. And when the matches ended, the danger didn't. Daniel Garcia posted footage showing fans swarming him outside the venue, forcing security to pull people off and create a path just so he could get to the exit. Claudio had already made headlines by defeating Ultimo Guerrero for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship, a major moment that should have been celebrated. Instead, it felt like the entire situation triggered something in the local audience. Garcia and Yuta had attempted to capture tag team gold but came up short, and the frustration from fans somehow morphed into real-life hostility. It was a rare moment where modern wrestling crowds crossed that invisible line into something unsettling. But while AEW dealt with chaos in the streets, one of WWE's most iconic families was getting ready for something far more emotional. Stephanie MC Mahan confirmed that she'll be on air for John Cena's final WWE match, and the announcement immediately added a different layer to the moment. Cena closing the book on his 2-decade career already felt heavy, but having Stephanie co-host the broadcast makes it feel like a piece of WWE history coming full circle. She joked about having to keep her emotions in check, but everyone knows how deeply the MC Mahan family has been connected to Cena's rise, his biggest matches, and his defining moments. Seeing her at ringside as his final match plays out almost feels symbolic, like the last page of an era being turned in front of the entire world. Fans are already speculating about who else should appear: old rivals, longtime allies, surprise faces from Cena's earliest days. But as Cena prepares for his dignified send-off, another legendary figure was dealing with something far less sentimental. Jimmy Hart experienced a bit of real-world trouble at WrestleCade when someone stole his iconic megaphone, the one he's been carrying since the 1980s. The convention confirmed that high-definition security cameras caught everything, and police are already preparing to review the footage. Even though the 80-year-old manager doesn't want to press charges, the venue made it clear that the case will still move forward if the megaphone isn't returned. Fans online were furious, calling the theft disrespectful and embarrassing. For Jimmy, that megaphone isn't just a prop, it's a symbol of decades managing everyone from Hulk Hogan to Bret Hart. Losing it is like someone ripping away a piece of his legacy. But while Jimmy dealt with the theft, another former WWE star ended up making headlines for a completely different reason, one that involved a punch no one could have prepared for. BJ Ray made his return at WrestleCade as well, and while fans were excited to see him back, his most viral moment didn't happen in front of a crowd. Instead, it happened backstage when boxing legend Butterbean dropped him with a body shot so stiff it echoed across the room. The video started as a joke, with Ray teasing Butterbean and pretending not to believe it was really him. "Prove it," he said, and Butterbean did, by stepping in and landing a punch that drove Ray straight to the ground, clutching his ribs in absolute shock. It was the kind of moment that instantly spreads online, with people rewinding it just to watch Ray collapse again. Between his teased hair revival, his unexpected return, and now this clip that probably bruised more than his ego, Ray's comeback is already gaining more attention than anyone predicted. But while he was busy getting knocked down, 3 other wrestlers were being lifted up in a completely different way. San Diego turned Survivor Series weekend into a citywide celebration when Mayor Todd Gloria awarded keys to the city to Rey Mysterio, Nia Jax, and Dominic Mysterio. The ceremony at Petco Park felt like the city embracing its wrestling roots, honoring 3 performers who carry San Diego pride everywhere they go. WWE's presence in the city was already strong, but seeing local stars recognized on such a major level made the weekend feel like more than just another stop on the schedule. It raised an interesting question: should more cities start honoring hometown wrestling icons when WWE comes to town? Moments like this connect the community to the show in a way that goes far beyond the ring. But while San Diego was celebrating, another part of WWE's media world was facing a much more uncertain future. Braun Strowman's show, Everything on the Menu, unexpectedly became a ratings win for the USA Network, outperforming multiple wrestling programs and turning into one of the quiet success stories of the year. For a show airing right after SmackDown, no one expected it to become such a consistent performer. But despite the strong numbers, Strowman revealed that he hasn't heard anything about renewal yet. The network hasn't committed to a second season, and with SmackDown set to run as a 3-hour show between January and midsummer, the time slot the show once occupied may be filled by something else. Strowman is staying hopeful, telling fans he's still waiting for an update, but at this point, nothing is guaranteed. The show could return later in the year, or it could simply fade away as one of those rare hits that never got a real chance to grow. For now, fans are left wondering if the big man's venture outside the ring is over, or if it's just waiting for the right moment to come back. This entire week made one thing clear: wrestling might be scripted inside the ring, but everything happening around it is unpredictable. Jey Uso's momentum sparked a battle between online critics and live audiences. Priscilla Kelly pushed boundaries in a way that had fans arguing nonstop. AEW stars found themselves dodging real danger in Mexico. Stephanie McMahon and John Cena are preparing for one final emotional chapter. Jimmy Hart dealt with a real-life loss. BJ Ray took a punch he'll probably never forget. San Diego honored its hometown heroes, and Braun Strowman's future on TV is hanging in the balance. It's a reminder that behind every match, every headline, and every unexpected twist, the wrestling world is constantly shifting, constantly surprising, and constantly giving fans something new to talk about.